Hi there, welcome back to my channel. I'm here with a new project to share. So the last couple of weeks I've been working on this folio. It's actually a pretty quick and easy folio. The thing is that I've put it to the side and then it's hard for me to pick it back up when you just have it lying around. I don't know how that is for you, but for me it's hard to then just continue with it once I've put it away. But I finished it, it's done, I can finally reveal it. As you can see, I've used a beautiful collection from Stamperia, Master of Magic. I had available to me the maxi pad that has 22 single-faced sheets, which is just making life easy because I don't have to choose between patterns when it's printed on both sides. As you can tell, I have quite a few of this left, so there is more to make with this one paper pack, so I'm happy with that. But I'm also very happy with how this turned out, because I'm really happy with the end result, and that had nothing to do with my designing skills for a folio, but everything to do with the paper collection. So yeah, I hope you're going to like it too. The folio measures 6¼ from side to side and 8¼ from top to bottom. It has a spine that is, I believe it's 7/8 of an inch. So not the biggest one. It's not gonna hold a whole lot of photos, but enough for a fun project. I think, yeah, let's say about 20-25 photos, depending on the sizes you're gonna use for this. Yeah, so on the front, I've used one of the beautiful imagery in the paper collection. I've also used some gold that I had lying around. It's the only place in the folio that I've used this gold, but I just felt that it was going to lift the front a little bit. And I fuzzy cutted a lot of elements out of the paper collection to make a little bit of a cluster here. When we open it up, you're going to see that both sides of the folio are actually the same. So that also makes it easy to put together because it's just the same thing on both sides. This side I filled up completely with photo mats. This side I didn't. The only reason for that is that I don't have my removable glue. So when I glue something in place and I'm stuck to that, and I want to have the opportunity to just do it differently once I have photos to go in here. I do realize that I need to grab a little thingy here. That's okay. So I'm going to show you this side first. I will show you the other side as well, of course, so you can see what papers I've used, but the whole design is the same on this side. So on top of the actual construction, so this is not in the tutorial, I've fuzzy cutted one of the tags that's in the collection, backed it with some black cardstock, and I glued two sides, so I have a little bit of a tuck space here for a little extras. Yeah, I just felt that lifted this spot here a little bit more. And then we have a pocket here that can hold, so I have a 4x4 photo in here, and then a smaller pocket that holds a 4x3 photo with a backing, and another one of those really nice tags in the paper collection. So I did continuous matting with the papers because I just feel that the papers from Stamperia are really suited for it, to have that continuous matting on there. So when I open this up, we have a flap here. On this side I went for two smaller photos, but as you can see on the other side later, you can also fit a full-size 6x4 photo there if you want to. And then I have a circle element here on top. Now this paper collection had a couple of really nice circle elements in the design of the papers, and I wanted to use them. So I found a large circle die set. I'll show you in the tutorial, and that I've cut out to put that circle element of the pattern paper on top, basically. And I made it where I can open it up, so I can put a photo or journaling, whatever it is that I want there. And of course the pattern paper. Now, as you can see, I did not cut into my paper on that fold line. I just stuck it on there and then I folded on it. That does affect how far you can open the element. I knew that at forehand, but I was being stubborn. I really didn't want to cut into my paper, so I was like, whatever the result is going to be, that's what it's going to be. But I highly suggest you cut into your paper because it just makes it more useful if you actually are able to open it up the whole way. So this circle element is on top of a big pocket. So I put in, first of all, a large photo mat for a 7x5 photo. You can I think that's the largest you can really fit in the pocket, but you can of course put in photos of the size that you like. And then I also used the square elements from the paper collection to make a booklet to go in here. So you find 4 pages that have 4 of these elements on them. So I could make 4 booklets if I want to. I made 2, so I still have half of it left. Where again I can put more photos. I did one here. I think it's not a 4x4, it's smaller. Oh no, it is a 4x4 actually. It is a 4x4 photo. And here I haven't decided on what I want to do here, but I can put a little journal spot or something here, or another photo if I want to, of course. And then I kept the back very plain. So I just thought that was a nice addition to go into this large pocket here. And then I can open this one up, to the other side. We have a stack pocket here at the back. I just need to make sure that stays in frame so everything is staying focused. So I just filled up the stack pocket. You can fill that up the way you like it. I have 2 full-size photos here. I backed up the back of the photo mats because I have enough pattern paper to do so. I just didn't do it everywhere because I want also, you know, think about the bulk and everything that it creates. So that's stack pocket. Then we have here, you can put a really large photo here if you want to. But I had this beautiful paper here and I didn't want to cover up the whole image there. So I only put like a really tiny, small 3x4 photo. I used some foam tape to lift it up so I can actually put some stuff behind it. But I suggest if you want to do it to use wet glue and not create more bulk because it does affect how it closes here. So I think it would have been better to do it with wet glue. But that's all right. So another tag and a small photo opportunity behind it. So I still create a little bit of extra opportunity there for photos instead of one large photo there. And then lastly, this flap here, we can actually remove that out of the base of the folio. I've done that before in a project like years ago in a small 6x6 folio, and I actually just liked it, so I wanted to reuse it. Yeah, I did a full 6x4 photo here. I fuzzy cutted some elements out of the paper collection. I like it like when I use small photos here to use a bigger one there, but that's all up to you, of course. I did not do anything to the back, and I rounded the corners of this just to make that sliding in and out of the folio a bit easier, but also to prevent things getting damaged. So that's like one side of the folio, that's it. It's like there's not much to it, but still the papers make it so awesome. So I'll show you this side quickly because it's the same design. I just used different papers, but I want you to see the papers that I've used in case you want to use the same papers on here and you want to see what combinations I've made. So those pockets, this time I did, like I said, a full 6x4 photo. I fuzzy cutted some little cards out of the paper collection that I've just put in here loose as an extra element. Another one of those circles, like I said, and I fuzzy cutted the flowers and it's sticking out, and it's even making it, I can't even open it that far. So that's what I'm talking about. You really want to cut into your paper. Don't be like me, just make sure you can use it properly. Another one of those large photo mats, so I just wanted you to be able to see the paper. 7x5 photo there, and another one of those booklets. So, oh right, I didn't give you the measurements in the tutorial. I'll make sure that it is in the cutting guide, but it's not in the tutorial. So these booklets are 5 3/4 by 5 3/4 square, which means that my black cardstock is 5 3/4 by, what is it, 11.5? Yes, 11.5, and then you score it at 5 3/4 to fold it in half. So that's how I've made them really easy, right? But it's nice if you have a measurement for it. So I'll just make sure that it does end up in the cutting guide. And that was to accommodate those squares that were already in the paper collection. So I used the measurements of the elements to decide on the size for this and to make sure that it fits in the pocket, of course. And then again, that stack pocket, as you can see, it's quite empty here. But that's okay, I can fill that up. And again, another one of those 3x4 photos. Now this one is glued completely, and I've kind of wished that I had the idea of only gluing 3 sides earlier, because then I would have been able to put something behind this photo as well and still enjoy the imagery. But I didn't here, that's all right, but it would have been nice to have a little bit more opportunity for photos or journaling there. And then of course we can take this one out as well. As you can see, I don't have any photos here yet. I want to be able to decide on that later. No pattern paper on the back, like I said, just to make that sliding in and out a bit easier. So this is the whole folio. This is it. Like I said, it's nothing special, but you can make it special with your papers. It comes together pretty quickly. The tutorial for this will follow straight after this video. So it's a tutorial and a project share in one video. So I was talking about the cutting guide, and the cutting guide will be available on my Ko-fi shop. It's going to be, again, a free download. So you can just download it for your advantage. It's easy. You can use it over and over again. You have your measurements ready to go, but I will give the measurements in the video as well. The last thing that I really want to say, because I haven't mentioned it before, my last album also was a free cutting guide, and I just want to say thank you to everybody who took the effort to go there and downloaded the cutting guide. And even though it was a free project, I noticed that there were quite a few people who decided to pay for it anyway or donate a small amount of money. And yeah, of course, a very big thank you to those people. It's very much appreciated. It does help with keeping the channel going, even though it's not as consistent as I would like to at the moment, but hopefully that will change in the near future. Also, I just want to say, when it's free, and you never ever have to feel obligated to pay me for something that is free. So yes, I do appreciate it, but never ever you have to feel obligated to do so. So thank you to everyone who went to my Ko-fi shop and downloaded the cutting guide. So I'm going to, well, not really leave you here, but this version of me is going to leave you here. You will go straight into the tutorial for this project. So I hope you enjoy. For now, thank you for watching if you not continue, and see you in the next one then. Okay, let's start with putting this book together. I've prepared a lot of the work, like the cutting, the scoring, and putting the tape on. But for, like, I will show you every single piece, like measurements, scoring, and where to put your tape. And it's actually, except for the spine piece, your tape always goes on the indented side. Okay, so let's start with the base. I'm going to put this pile to the side. You're gonna need 4 pieces of A. Now I have already prepared a little bit, so let me get this out of the way as well, because we need to do the scoring first. 4 pieces of A that measure 6 1/4 by 8 3/4. Now this needs to move over a little bit. And let me get my score tool. With the 8 3/4 inch on top, you're going to score at 8 1/4. So that goes for all 4 pieces. And then you place your tape on the indented side, close to the cut edge. Again, for all 4 pieces. Then you're going to have your piece B, that is 8 1/4 by 1 7/8 of an inch. With that 1 7/8 on top, you're going to score at 1/2 inch. And you're going to score at 1 3/8 of an inch. For your spine piece, your tape will go on the indented side and also on the bumpy side. And then you also have a piece B1, which is also 8 1/4, and it's slightly under 7/8 of an inch. For safety, you could cut it to 3/4 of an inch. It's just to reinforce that spine piece in a minute. So those are your pieces for the base. Then we are going to make the pieces for the actual folio. And for all the pieces that I'm showing you, you're going to need 2 of each. But I'm only showing you 1. So first up, it's going to be a flat piece. It's piece C that measures 8 1/4 by 6 7/8 of an inch. And with that 6 7/8 of an inch on top, you're going to score at 6 1/4 and 6 3/8 of an inch. So you have a 1/8 of an inch space in between your score lines, and then 1/2 inch on the end. Tape on the indented side, close to that cut edge. Then we're going to have a large pocket, piece D. that measures 7 1/4 by 5 3/4. With the 7 1/4 inch on top, you're going to score 1/2 inch, 6 3/4. Then you're going to turn it, and with the 5 3/4 inch on top, you're going to score 5 1/4. So a score line on 3 sides. On all 3 sides with the score line, your tape will go again on the indented side, close to that cut edge. Then we're going to make stack pockets. First up, we're going to have piece E, which is a regular pocket that measures 7 1/4 by 4 inches. With the 7 1/4, you're going to score 1/2 inch, 6 3/4. Turn it with the 4 inches on top, and you're going to score at 3 1/2 inches. That's the first piece for your stack pocket. And then piece F, again 7 1/4, this time by 2 1/2 inches. With the 7 1/4 inch on top, again 1/2 inch, 6 3/4, and then turn it where the 2 1/2 is on top, and you're going to score at 1 3/4 inch. And you only have to place your tape on the indented side, on this short side here, up to the score line. So on both sides, like this. Then we have a large piece, piece G. Let me put it in the right way, how I put it in the cutting guide. This piece is 10 5/8 inch by 8 1/8 inch. And with that 10 5/8 inch on top, you're going to score at 4 3/4 and 5 1/8 inch. Now the large part is on my right hand side. On that side, I'm going to use a corner punch to round off those corners, and I'm going to do it now so I don't forget. It's just to, like, it's up to you if you're going to do it. It's a protection thing because we're going to slide it in and out of the album. It makes it easier to slide it in, but it also protects the corner a little bit. So I just do it now so I don't forget. And then we have 2 more pockets, piece H, which measures 5 3/4 by 3 7/8 inch. I did that with a reason, I'll show you in a little bit. The 5 3/4 inch side on top, we're going to score 1/2 inch, and at 5 1/4. And then with the 3 7/8 inch at 3 3/8 inch. So that's piece H. Again, you also need 2 of these, right? Still, of everything that I'm showing you, you need 2 pieces. And the last one is piece I. This one measures 4 3/4 inch by 3 7/8. And with the 4 3/4, you're going to score 1/2 inch, 4 1/4, and then again turn it to where the 3 7/8 is on top, and we score at 3 3/8 inch. Sorry, I didn't really say about the tape here, but they are pockets. So on the 3 sides with a score line, your tape will go on the indented side, close to that cut edge. So then we can start preparing and folding those pieces. So you will notice that this folio will come together pretty quick. I think I spent a little less than an hour on getting all my pieces cut, double check the measurements, put on tape, like scored tape, and already preparing half of the folio. So I think within an hour and a half, up to 2 hours, you have this whole album constructed basically. And also the decorating, it goes pretty quick. For the base, anyway, we're going to make like 2 tunnel pages. So I already did one to save time on the tutorial. So we just need to do the other one. So you would start with 4 of these pieces. You're just going to fold towards the bumpy side of the score line. So my bumpy side is facing me now, and then I'll just fold on that one. So my tape is ending up on the outside. It's like basic rules that I apply in my album making. And actually before I do that, I'm going to like angle that 1/2 inch a little bit to hide construction. So just cut like where your tape is starting, probably. At least I use 3/8 inch tape, so I start where my tape is starting, but just above the score line, and cut with an angle towards that cut edge. And then you can fold, and always give my folds a good burnish. Now I don't remember if I did this one. I think I did, but okay. Now I'm going to place one on my work surface with the tape showing me, and the other one I want to have the tape on the other side, and I'll flip it. And then I'm going to make sure that all the four corners are lined up as best as I can get it. Now I know this is not it's not the cheapest, but it's also not the most expensive cardstock out there, and it's not always as straight as I would like it to be. So it's a bit more of a challenge. But when I have those lined up, I'm going to put my hand on top and I'm going to peel the tape backing here, and I will start with pushing here where the tape backing is still on, and then I will push it there and then remove that tape backing completely. Now I'm going to turn it. I'm just going to check one more time and I'm still happy with my placement. And now the tape is underneath on the top flap, so I need to peel it from under there. And again, I'll push the corner down here first because I can still move it, and then when I'm happy I'll stick that down. So that tunnel page made. So we have two of those now. Then we're going to go to the spine. So you can do this in the order that you would like to do. So my B1 piece will go on top of my actual spine, piece B. I have my spine facing me with the bumpy side towards me, and I will just start folding on that a little bit. And I'm just going to double check if this piece really fits in between my score lines, because you don't want it to interfere with the ability of these score lines to function. If it does, and I'm still actually not quite happy with how that fits, I'm just, because that works easiest for me, I'm going to get a ruler and a knife. I'm going to line it up straight as I can. It's just a hair that I need to take off, and I'm really going to hold that in place and just cut off a hair. You can do this in your paper trimmer, whatever works for you, right? But just make sure that you really fit in between those fold lines. Now I'm doing it on the bumpy side. That will be the inside of my album. You could do it on the outside as well. It doesn't really matter. It's just to make it a bit stronger, and I didn't put tape on this yet, so I'm just going to make my life easy and use some wet glue on this. And I also put like pattern paper on both sides of the spine, so that will also make it stronger. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that it was like really holding all the weight of the folio. So I'm making sure that I'm in between my score lines, and I really try to line up the top edge. The wet glue is helping me here. I have a little bit more time to move that around, and I'll just glue that in place. Just closing my glue quickly. Giving all of that a good burnish. Checking that I don't have any overhang. Now, tape is on both sides, and also here I'm going to angle all four sides of those 1/2 inch flaps, so we can actually slide it in our tunnel pages in a second. I'm having a cup of coffee in the meantime because I didn't have one yet. Okay, before I'm going to remove any tape backing, I'm just going to get my tunnel pages and I'm going to give it a dry fit. Am I happy with how this slides in? Like I said, my cardstock is not the best, and sometimes I'm off a little bit, so then I need to make some readjustments. But this is fine. You want to go up to the score line where you can still see the score line, so this side is fine. And then I will try the other side. And again, perfect. So this is how I like to do it. I'm just removing the tape backing here on one side. If you want to add some wet glue, you definitely can. I don't feel the need to do so, but yeah, sure, you absolutely can if you want to. So I'm having my hand in the tunnel page and I'm sliding it over while I'm holding it down a little bit so I have a little less risk of my page sticking onto it when I don't want to yet. I go up to that score line, and when I'm happy, I will give that a burnish. And now I can do the same thing on the other side. I just like to turn it. It's just a bit easier for me to work that way on that side. So I'm going to do the exact same thing. Just stick that down. So on the inside, both sides are glued down. So I will flip it. And now I can peel away the tape backing here. So a little tool like this is quite useful. And again, I will turn it because it's easier. And all of that is in place. So this is our base book, right? Okay, so making sure that I didn't even fold up properly on my score lines, did I? So I can still do that, that's not a problem. So towards that bumpy side again, yeah, to really make it into a book and not just a flat piece. There we go. So the base of our book. Now the first thing that I'm going to put in here, so I'm just hoping that that's working and not everything is going out of focus the whole time, is my extra flap, which is piece, and I want to say it right, C. So piece C is the one that has the score line with 1 inch space in between. Again, I'm going to angle that 1/2 inch. So I'm going to construct like 1/2 of the folio, and then the other half I've already prepared the pieces. I will go a little bit quicker. We want to fold and burnish both those score lines on this piece. So again, our tape will end up on the outside. And when your score lines are so close together, it can be a bit more tricky to get it all neatly folded, so just take your time on that. And now I want to be folded on that 1/2 inch score line. So I have my tape underneath the piece, and then when I look on the other side, I see my gusset area and that second score line. That's how I want it to be in order to construct it. So I will get my base back in. I'm going to go to the left hand side of the folio for now. I'm going to line up my folded edge here with basically the cut edge of piece A. I still want to be able to see my fold line, my score line of my spine piece. So this is how I'm going to line it up. It will stick out now a little bit. That's because we have that gusset area visible here. I'm going to remove this tape backing just a little bit on top. I'm going to align it here on the bottom how I want it. And also make sure that it's lined up with the bottom, but it's a bit slippery, so. And then I will bring it up there, see if I'm still happy with how that is lying there. Not quite. See, how is this? Yep. Now I hold it. So make sure that I don't push too hard on the actual area where the tape is, just holding it in place with my hand, and then I can carefully remove that tape backing and give that like a stick with my finger. I will open it up and then give it a good burnish. And then I'm going to fold back on that other score line. So I'm just pushing back on it, and then it will line up here on the side. Maybe you even have a little bit of space left there. So that's the first thing. You will do the same thing on the other side if you want to do that straight away. But for now, I'm going to continue towards our stack pocket. And now this is terrible, but I don't remember on what side the stack pocket is. So let me double check. Oh no, we're going to do the big pocket first. But let me check anyway. Right, on that inside, yep. First, we're going to do the big pocket on top of piece C here that we just placed. So that's piece D. So for a regular pocket, when we have the 3 score lines, we have an intersection of score lines here at the bottom. I'm going to cut with a 45-degree angle straight through that intersection. Or however you like to do it, right? But this is how I like to do it. And I do that on both sides. So this is what that would look like. And then I'm going to fold on all 3 score lines. So I just did the bottom first, and then I will do the sides, and I will check if these flaps don't touch each other or overlap. If they do overlap, I need to cut a little bit more off. But I even had a little bit of space there, so that's fine. So give that a good burnish. This is what the back would look like. And I'm going to get my base back in. So this is going to go on top of piece C. Now, if it's easier for you, you can just fold this flat again. And then I will line up the left bottom corner with the left bottom corner of this flap. Now let me get a piece of white. So I can really see the corner of that flap. And I'm going to start with placing down the bottom, but I just like to give it a double check, like, do I really fit from that cut edge here on the left side to that first score line on the right side there, but that's fine. Just thinking, I'm just going to turn my piece a little bit. Oh well, oh, here it is. I thought I left it downstairs, but I like to use some really basic tape, which you'll see in a second. So I'm just going to align it here where I think it needs to go. Place that corner down. Again, hold it. Push that down. I'm going to open this up, and then I'm going to get my regular tape and place that on the overlapping. I want it to overlap the attachment of the pocket and the actual piece, and this will help with your photo mats going over that bumpy flap on the bottom, because I never put my pattern paper all the way to the bottom of a pocket, because I think it's a waste of your pattern paper and it's creating bulk that you don't need to create. So once I've done that, I can then attach the side flaps of the pocket, and I will just remove the tape backing and stick it down. I'm becoming a bit messy. I don't have a lot of space here, and I just don't know where to leave stuff anymore. Okay, so I'll make sure that I guide it somewhat, and then I will stick that in place. So that's our large pocket there. Then we will open up this flap and go all the way to the left hand side, which is basically our tunnel page, like our piece A. And this is where we're going to place our stack pocket, which is pieces E and F. We will start with piece E, where we're going to do the same thing as we just did with the other pocket. We're going to cut straight through that intersection of our score lines and fold on those score lines. See, I need to just keep moving stuff around. It's alright. So same thing, I just fold on the bottom, and then I'll fold my side flaps over, and I'll just check if they don't overlap. It's fine. So then I can burnish those sides. So that's one. And let me show you piece F straight away, because then we can just continue with attaching. So for piece F, we have our score line here and here. I'm gonna go with my scissors where the tape is. I'm going to cut just above that score line, and I like to use the slightest angle. And I cut up to the intersection. And then I come from the bottom, and again with an angle, I cut to that intersection, and this is what I've cut out right now. So I'm going to do the same thing here. So with the slightest angle, I cut to the intersection, and from the bottom with a bit more of an angle, but cut to that intersection. And so this is what we have. These pieces can go, and we only have to fold on our side flaps here. And give that a burnish. So then we can attach both pieces as we go. So left hand side, this is the tunnel page. We're going to start with piece E. We are going to make sure that this fits from that cut edge, and we don't go over the first score line here. So we want to have a score line, 1/8 inch gusset area, and another score line visible right there. It's important, so our flap can actually keep moving. So I will do the same thing as I just did with that large pocket. I'm going to remove a little bit of tape from the bottom of the pocket. Just place it where I think I want it. And making sure that it aligns right there. And when I'm happy, I will remove that tape backing completely. Give that a burnish and get some of that tape in. And I always give that tape a bit of a burnish. You can see the color changing. Just make sure that it has a really good stick. And then we can stick our side flaps down again. That's 1 and 2. And then straight away we grab piece F. What we're going to do is we're going to slide this 3/4 inch part into the pocket and stop at that score line. Just make sure, I gave it a dry fit, that everything is straight. I can still see that score line there. And when you're happy, you can, I just removed the tape backing completely, and I will hold it in place until I'm ready to stick it down. You can add some wet glue if you feel more comfortable. But I just hold these things down until I'm happy with where I'm going to place it. So one side and the other side there, and just this can still fold over nicely. And also give that a good burnish, and then you will see that I just need something a bit bigger here. That this one will go all the way to the bottom, and this one will go all the way to the bottom. So that's our stack pocket. Now we are going to, I'm going to take this out of the way, our base, and we will work on our last piece on that side of the folio, which we have 3 pieces left for this side, which is G, H, and I. So G, remember we rounded off the corners on the larger side. We have 2 score lines here in the middle. That's what we're going to fold on towards the bumpy side. We don't need any tape on this. So just fold and burnish both of them. Now this part will slide into our tunnel page, and then this is what we will have visible in the folio. So I'm going to fold on the score line here where my other score line and gusset area is underneath the piece. I can have this underneath it if I want to. I'm not sure if it's really necessary, but it makes it a little bit more visible. And then we're going to prepare both pieces H and I. They're both a pocket, so same thing. I'm just going to cut with that 45-degree angle on both pieces, and then fold and burnish those fold lines. Okay, so those are prepared. Now, up to this point, everything is exactly the same for both sides of your folio, right? The only thing is that for piece G, and I will show you again in a little bit, but for one piece, you're going to make it where the fold line is on the left-hand side, and the other one where the fold line is on the right-hand side, because that will slide in from the other side. I hope that makes sense. Now for pieces H and I, you can decide for yourself how you want these. Do you want to have piece I on the bottom and H on the top, or do you want that the other way around? What I did in the actual folio is, for one I did it this way, and for the other one I switched it because I thought that was nice, playful. So I think for this one, it's just a feeling that I have. I'm going to put piece H on the bottom. So again, from that bottom flap, that's where I'm going to start with attaching. I will remove a little bit of that tape backing. And so the folded edges here on this side, yeah, I'm going to line it up with that one and the bottom. And then bring this piece here along that folded edge. And stick that down once you're happy with your placement. Again, a little bit of that tape. Giving that a burnish. And then remove those tape backings here. Now you can turn this piece if that works easier for you, of course. Just however it works for you. And then again, give that a good burnish. Now, our other piece, in this case I, is what I have left, should fit on here. And I made a mistake. As you can see, it doesn't. Why is it not fitting? I probably made a mistake in my measurements, even though I double checked. This one is, it should be 3 3/8. What do I have? I think 3 3/4. Oh yeah, I definitely gave you like a way too big measurement. So I will make sure that I have a little note in the video, but this should be 3 3/8. So I need to score this. I'll just fix it. I'm not going to make a whole new piece. That's not necessary. So 3 3/8 plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 7/8. So this piece should be, it should be 4 3/8, not 4 3/4. I'll write that down straight away. And I need to score at 3 7/8. Half an inch and 3 7/8. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to recut this. Oh, here. I was like, what did I do with my work surface? Okay, now I might, of course I'm losing everything now. I'll just put an extra piece of tape there. See, not the end of the world at all. Oh, that didn't work. That's better. So now it is slightly overlapping, so I'll just recut it. That's better. Okay, so you will have the right measurements straight away, of course, but also to show you it's fixable. And then I will tape this, glue this down, put it in place. I'm not 100% happy with how this fits. I have a little bit of space left on top now. Maybe it's because I made the adjustment. It doesn't really matter. I might just cut off a hair of the whole piece if it really bothers me. That's not the end of the world either. I could cut off a piece here, right? But I just don't feel like it. So for me, it's important that I have a nice, there's no gap in between my pockets here. So I'm not sure how well you can see it, but I have like 1/16 of an inch space here on top of my pocket up to the cut edge. That's probably because my paper is not completely straight or because I made the adjustment, one or the other. That's not the end of the world. I will probably just cut off that hair in my paper trimmer. I'm not going to do it right now. At least as long as it fits in here, because that's what we're going to do next. When I open all of this up, here is the stack pocket and here is the opening of the tunnel page. That's where we're going to slide this in. See, now it might be that I'm not even, like, it's sliding in, but it's not. So I think I just need to cut off that hair anyway. So it's probably that my paper wasn't completely straight for piece G. So I will, or maybe I can do it on camera, that's fine. I will get this in. So I don't want to cut into my pocket, right? So sometimes I feel more safe to do it with my ruler. And this paper trim is also not the best at cutting off little bits when my blade is getting a bit dull, and it is getting a bit dull. But I've lined it up where I hope that the edge of my pocket is lined up with the edge of where it's cutting. And then I will just bring it up. That went perfectly. Something went right. And then I also have to do the rounding of the corner again, because that's not good anymore, right? Oh. There we go. So let's try that again. That should go a little bit easier now. Yes. Okay. So this will close and then this will go on top. Now the last thing that I want to show you before I continue to the other side is the circle that I have in my book. I went for the circle and I placed it on top of piece D, the large pocket, is because I had those circle elements in my paper collection. So I borrowed a how do you say that again, where you have all different sizes of circles that go together. This actually belongs to my mother, but she let me borrow it. I used the second largest one because that worked with the size of the image best. So I just looked at what size is the image and then what would give me a nice border around it. So I've used the second largest one that gives me a double stitched edge in there as well. So I made 2 of those, and then I used the one smaller. It's just a plain circle, nothing special, no stitching, no scallop. For the white cardstock for the photo mats or journal space. That is like in here, but also to cut out the image out of the pattern paper. So use what you have, what works for you when it comes to the circles. So this is what I've used. I don't have a brand or number or anything from that particular die set, unfortunately. And then what I did is I took one circle and I've placed that in my scoreboard. And I just eyeballed like what would look nice. And I believe I went for 7/8 of an inch. You can do an inch, you can do 3/4, and I just scored it there. Like that. And of course I folded on it. And I've kind of trained it to go both ways actually, and then on this little part here, I put some wet glue. I'm not being very particular at the moment. And then I grabbed my second circle. Again, I made sure that the right side is facing me. And I've kind of line it up how I want it, and then stick that part down, and then you need to let it dry, of course, a little bit, but then you have this circle that can open up, and you can put a photo, a journal spot, whatever it is that you like in here, and of course your pattern paper on top. And then when I was done with the decorating on the large pocket, so I first put my pattern paper down on top of that large pocket, and then I just decided, like, okay, how high do I want it? I could have gone a little lower to have a little bit better access to the pocket itself, but I've kind of hold it then with my hand about, okay, I'm going to glue it about up to there, and then I make sure that my glue is lower than that only, and I just glued it down. That's all I did. So that's to show you the circle. If you don't have a circle die that you can use for this, I put a little alternative into the cutting guide, which yeah, I named it Alt from alternative. This piece is 3 3/4 by 9.5 inches, and then with the 9.5 inch I scored it at 4 3/4, which is basically halfway, and you can fold it in half. You could round off the corners if you want to, and then you have like a square piece that you can open up. You can add a pocket on here if you want to, or a little belly band. You can decorate it, but you can put this in place instead of the circles. So there are different ways of going with that. Okay, so half of the folio is constructed. It's like, it's nothing special, it's nothing majorly big, but this is how I felt about the project when I started it. And using a really nice paper collection like the one that I used from Stamperia really lifts the whole project to another level, and you go like, actually this is a pretty cool project. So I do feel that sometimes when you have a blank project, it looks a bit boring sometimes, like really this is it, but the paper collection makes all the difference. So I will construct the other side now, which is the same thing as this side, so I'm not going to be as yeah, I'm just putting this together quickly, showing you that it's the same thing. You just need to make sure that you mirror it. So again, here I'm making sure that my fold line is next to the spine, and that I'm making sure that I can still see the score line of my spine when I'm sticking this down. All my pieces are already prepared, folded on and everything, so I can go quite quick. Again, I'm just making sure this is flat. I'm searching for my large pocket, piece D. I will give it a dry fit like always, just because you saw earlier, if you made a little boo-boo, then you can still change things now, right? But once I've glued it down, then it's a little less easy to fix it. Just making sure everything is lining up. Some tape there. And then we can do the sides. So I'm not putting the circles or the other piece in place right now. You really do that while you're decorating. So what I did when I constructed my folio, I just keep them safe in the pocket. Like I have the circle here, I can put it in here just to keep it safe, and it's there for when I'm decorating. So I'm opening it up, I'm going to the back, and I'm going to find my pieces for my step pockets, which are E and F. I will start with E. Same thing, make sure that it fits. And see here, I don't know why, but it is the case that I will go over that score line when I put it in place. So it's a good thing that I checked, because now I can change it. It wasn't planned because I wanted to do this side quick, but apparently there is no such thing as being quick. So I'm going to use the black line on my scoreboard here for this. That's what I'm saying, but oh yeah, I can do it here. And it was a little less than 1/8 of an inch, but I'm just going to eyeball it where I lined up that it's straight and just rescore that piece there. Now for this little bit, I'm not going to put any extra tape or anything on it. Excuse me, I'm just going to recut it, of course, otherwise it will overlap. And then fold. Now the chances are high that I have to do the same thing with my piece F. So, but I will see that in a second. Okay, let's try this again. That's much better. Okay, good thing, because I didn't know if you could see that, but almost I just removed the tape backing and just went for it. And I was like, oh no, wait, let's give that a dry fit. Yep. I was in doubt if my tape backing was ripped there, but it's all off. And again, some tape. Giving it a burnish. And just stick that down. Now, like I said, I probably need to do the exact same thing with piece F. And it's just a few more weeks until I have my old stuff all available to me again. So I can't wait, because it just makes life so much easier if you have like good material to work with. Like my paper trimmer, my big viscous paper trimmer. Oh, how I miss that one. But it's okay. I've managed to work around it for now. So here I do the same thing. I have my score line at the same place as I had the score line for the other piece. So I have about the same amount of extra that I'm taking off. It's a bit of a gamble, but I really use my grid here to help me with that. And I'll just recut that. And then refold it. No, it's a bit close together, so you really need to take your time on folding on that. And get it in. Again, much better. It might be a little bit smaller than the other one. That's okay. I'll just stick it down as straight as I can. So, just holding that. I'm gonna make sure that it's lined up really nicely here with the cut edge, because I think that would look not great if that's not lined up. And then here on the inside it will just be a little less visible, I think. But again, if you do some precise cutting and scoring, those things won't be there. Is it a big problem? No, it's handmade, but like I get annoyed with those little things because they're preventable from my point of view. But yeah. Okay, then we have piece G. So now I need to make sure that I do it in the right way, because it's sliding in from this side. So, and now I'm going to do H on top, just because I like it. So I'm going to start with I. I've already readjusted that measurement because I knew it wasn't going to be right. And now I'm doing this on the other side. So all the rest, like the way you're doing it is the same. You just need to make sure that you do it on the right side of your piece. And let me just think before I say. I will have a look in a second. Oh, that's not great. Well, okay. Okay, now we have a nice fit. Finally. Why did I remove the tape backing completely? I don't know. It's okay. I can manage. There we go. Did I forget my tape there? I think I did. That's alright. It's a small pocket. Okay, that's it. Final piece. Now, what I was thinking, but let me double check. If I get my other piece key out, that I did this way. Yeah. So if you do both pieces the same, just construct it the same, but you just slide this one in from there, your pockets will be in a different way. This is what I wanted, the look that I wanted anyway. So yeah, you don't have to worry too much about making sure that your pieces turn around and everything, as long as you don't mind that your pocket changes. If you want it to have the same, then you need to worry about that. But this was perfect, so I was just making it more difficult than necessary, I guess. And this is the whole construction of this page. Now you can think about a closure, of course. I did not go for a closure, but you can think about a belly band to go around the folio. You can have a piece that that you attach on the back and have it come over up to the front that you close with a magnet. There are several ways if you want to have a closure on how you can make one. So yeah, a pretty quick folio, but actually I kind of enjoy it. I kind of enjoy having some easy projects, you know, if you need to have a quick album for a few photos. So I'm definitely going to work on a few more that are in a doable size, that are not too elaborated, just quick and easy to put together, but can still be really amazing projects in the end. So this is how you put together this folio. I think I'm just going to call it a Master of Magic Folio. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm going to make it into a series. I haven't really come up with an official name yet. But don't forget, I gave you all the measurements in the video. However, there is a free cutting guide for your convenience available in my Ko-fi shop. So you can just download it there. It's free. And it's just easy to have the measurements, and you can use it over and over again if you want to. So for now, I want to say thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you in the next one really soon. Bye bye.